This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is a Fast Break Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, as always, is Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
And today, we are going to be doing our Mock Draft 4.0. This is episode 2 of the Fast Break this week. We just did our Wet Boy of the Year and Playoff Prediction episode. Go check that out on iTunes or Blog Talk Radio. We had a fun time there. And now we're going to be having even a better time on the Mock Draft 4.0. If you're listening on iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, the Fast Break Podcast. We love and need the support. Help us out over there. And if you're feeling generous, go to the Onside Kick page, the Primetime Podcast page, the Rick and Johnny page. The Outcast page isn't up yet, but also go give them love on YouTube. Most of you guys are already watching on YouTube, so just head over to the page and check out the Outcast with Buzz and Juice. Also, go check out mostvaluablepodcast.com. You can find all of our posts. You can also find our store over there and buy a lovely MVP t-shirt. And we're going to wrap that up with patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Next week, we're going to have a double Patreon episode with Jake and Pat. And then next week, we're going to have Will on for 427. So it's going to be a fun time with those. If you want to be on a podcast, give your thoughts and talk about your opinions, then hit up patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast and look at that $10 tier. We also have some fun stuff like a video Patreon podcast every single month. You also have a Q&A at the $5 tier. But let's move on into the mock draft. Let's not waste any time because this first segment usually goes for about an hour. Let's do it, Ricky. Give us your 1 through 10.
Well, starting off at number 1, the Phoenix Suns. They have the number 1 pick for now. We'll see after the lottery, but they're going to take DeAndre Ayton. Then at number 2, Luka Doncic. He's back up into my top 3. Everyone can stop freaking out.
We had him at 7 last time.
just
for
a
people who didn't
reminder.
know.
Stop freaking out. He's at 2 now. Then the Mavericks taking Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley.
Jesus the third
Christ.
from Duke. Then at, what am I on? 4 now?
Four.
I'm losing it here. Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr., the forward from Michigan State. Then at 5, Trae Young going to the Orlando Magic. Number 6, my Bulls taking MPJ, forward out of Mizzou. Kings at 7 going Mikal Bridges, 3-and-D guy from Villanova. Then Mo Bamba going at 8 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Kevin Knox going to the Knicks at 9. And then number 10, 76ers sneak in. They're taking Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke.
David Oster, give us your 1 through 10.
All right, my number 1, I've got the Suns taking DeAndre Ayton out of Arizona. Number 2, I've got the Grizzlies going Luka. At number 3, I've got the Mavericks. I don't know, I couldn't read that. Mavericks going Marvin Bagley III. At 4, I've got the Hawks going Jaren Jackson Jr. 5, come on, you know me, it's Trae Young. It's going to happen. Number 6, I've got the Bulls taking Michael Porter Jr. Like a message from God, him showing up to that Bulls game a couple weeks ago. Number 7, I've got the Kings going Mikal Bridges. At number 8, I've got the Cavs going Wendell Carter Jr. At number 9, I've got Miles Bridges to the Knicks. And number 10, I've got a surprise here. I've got Zaire Smith going to the 76ers.
That's a jump. First time Zaire Smith has been in the top 10 for any of our mock drafts.
Yep.
So it's a big name, a big move for Zaire Smith. And let's jump into my top 10. At number 1, like Ricky and Dave, I have the Suns going DeAndre Ayton, the center from Arizona. 2, the Memphis Grizzlies going with Luka Doncic, just like Ricky and Dave does. Number 3, I have the Mavericks going with Jaren Jackson Jr. from Michigan State over the Marvin Bagley picks or the Mo Bamba picks. I know I consistently said Mo Bamba was going to be a Dallas Maverick. I think it might not be in the cards now. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. will be a nice fit on Dallas. 4, I have the Hawks going with Marvin Bagley III. One thing I want to say, someone said on your big board, oh, you guys are finally showing love for Marvin Bagley because I think someone had him in the top 5. It's ridiculous. Just because we put him outside the top 5 doesn't think he's a bad player. I'm sick of getting DMs about Marvin Bagley. All right, guys? I love that you guys are interacting, but I don't hate Marvin Bagley. I think he's a good prospect. I have the Hawks going with him at 4. 5, Trae Young going to the Orlando Magic just like Ricky and Dave has him. Then 6, Bulls going Mikal Bridges. I was surprised you guys didn't have Mikal going to the Bulls at 6.
I'll take MPJ, thanks.
We'll talk about it. The Sacramento Kings at 7 go with Michael Porter Jr. from Mizzou. 8, the Cavs going with Mo Bamba from Texas. Number 9, the New York Knicks going with Wendell Carter Jr. from Duke. And number 10, the Philadelphia 76ers going with Miles Bridges from Michigan State University. Again, I love talking to you guys on DMs and Twitter, but every single comment we have is about Marvin Bagley. So let's jump in and talk about Marvin Bagley first. What makes this guy so compelling? What makes him this polarizing figure that if he's not number one, you're wrong, and if he's number one, you're also an idiot because Marvin Bagley, shouldn't be going number one. It's Luka Doncic, but also if you like Luka, you're an idiot. This is like the most hate we've ever gotten on players. Even so if we have someone at 7. Luka at 7, they're like, oh, that's a great idea. And then someone's like, oh, you guys are morons. You never watched basketball in your life. This is such a crazy, polarizing draft. Yeah. So let's start at one of the guys and Marvin Bagley. What's the reason that Marvin Bagley is so polarizing? It's
weird because Brandon and I kind of had this discussion, but more focused on Triple J in our recent big board that you guys can check out. But to me, it comes down to his team was so stacked to where it's like, what is he on its own? Because so many people are going to focus in on just this tournament and look at, when he was out there alone, the team did worse than when Wendell Carter was out there. So really, Wendell Carter's the guy we should be looking at, right? Like, that's what I've been feeling through this tournament. Because the last tournament game, Wendell Carter sat for a couple minutes and it was just Bagley out there. Duke didn't look good at all. Wendell Carter comes in. That Duke team got a shot in the arm, got back into the game. I want to say that was the Syracuse game, if I'm remembering correctly. But that, to me, is the only thing with Marvin Bagley. It's nothing like, he doesn't do this well, doesn't do that well. It's just all right, he was so stacked on that team. What is it like where Jaren Jackson was him and Miles Bridges? Where
he was also on a stacked team.
It wasn't as stacked as Duke. Duke was team's ever stacked. Duke was way more stacked than Michigan State.
But I see where you're going with that, and I'd just like to contest with he's a terrible defender. Mm-hmm. They literally had to play zone to cover up for his awful defense. So what I would say is that Wendell Carter is a complete big and has a lot of potential as well. No disrespect. Marvin Bagley is just an offensive monster. He has amazing athleticism. He can learn to play defense maybe, but right now at this point, he doesn't have a high defensive IQ. But what he does have is a motor that won't quit, and he has a good shot, a good post game.
I was wondering this last night. Mm-hmm. Is Marvin Bagley, and you can question me if I'm wrong, it's just a question, is Marvin Bagley a better offensive prospect than DeAndre Ayton?
They're close.
Yes, I would say so.
I don't think so because of the final size. I think that just you can't pass up DeAndre Ayton's size makes him a better offensive weapon. Statistically, they're very close. But I think offensive skill set wise, DeAndre Ayton has more potential because of his size.
And they're going to be playing the same position because DeAndre Ayton wants to be playing the 4, and Marvin Bagley would most likely be playing the 4 in the NBA. So that's the reason why I bring this up, and we talk about both of them not being great defenders. So that was one thing that I was thinking of last night. It was just Marvin Bagley might be more of a fluid athlete, but DeAndre Ayton is a brick shithouse. This guy's a monster. And we've seen consistently DeAndre Ayton show that he has a jump shot. So it's not like he's losing and lacking in that department. Marvin Bagley is not afraid to shoot it more, and Marvin Bagley is more of a can take over a game. I think more just because he has the ability to ball handle a little bit more than DeAndre Ayton does. Yeah. DeAndre Ayton needs a guard to at least set him up a little bit. But I was thinking about this last night, just questioning who is better offensively, because again, the size is obviously a big difference, and DeAndre Ayton seems more comfortable playing offense. It just seems like he's got, he's more of a well-rounded player. But Marvin Bagley has so many tools that might make him really dangerous and might help him succeed more in the NBA. So that's one thing that I was looking at is, DeAndre Ayton has been number 1, I think, in all of our mock drafts. But still looking at it, I don't know if I'm 100% sold on him being number 1, because now Dave keeps bringing up this thing that the player picked at 3 is consistently in the top 2 of the best players selected in that draft. You look back from 2000 on, either the first pick's a bust or the second pick's a bust, and the third player is always, better than the first or second player. So that's why I'm questioning and looking at DeAndre Ayton, just trying to question where are the holes. Both guys can't play defense, so what's really setting them apart offensively?
The thing, though, is bringing that into it. I don't want to go really into it, but what's interesting is, so both of us, all 3 of us have either Triple J or Bagley at 3. If that 3 is the one that's going to be the better player, who's the bust out of 1-2? Is it Ayton or is it Doncic? Because what you're saying is one of them's going to be a bust. We both have Ayton, Doncic. Which one of those 2, Luka or DeAndre, will be the bust?
Well, that's the thing is I think looking at the I don't know if it means
and I'm not
bust.
Bringing this up just because of everything.
No,
with
I know
Luka.
I don't know if it means bust. It just means who's going to be the worst player, because that whole argument doesn't typically mean bust. But I honestly think Luka Doncic is the only player that will not bust in this draft. I think this kid is so well-rounded that he's going to find a way to at least be a starter in the NBA.
Worst case scenario, he could be a starter for 7 to 10 years. That's the thing. So, I mean, like you said, bust is a relative word to what we're talking about. And I think that Ayton could be a bust if you consider his lack of defense. If he just stays unmotivated and not locked into games, you could consider him a bust, and he could be basically a shitty version of somewhere between Cat and Ja offensively. But if he doesn't play defense, he could have that Ja side of the game. Meanwhile, Bagley I could see being his floor somewhere around be easy. He's be easy but with a motor. So
and bigger.
A little bit bigger, yeah. But it's just one of those cases where it's they all have clear flaws in their game. And it just turns into, do you think that big men could get injured? And that could end their career real quick.
Yeah.
Luka is versatile because his game is not based around his athleticism. It's based around him being a well-rounded player. So that's why I agree with Sean.
Well, and the thing that I'm looking at, kind of going now back to the bigs that we were saying, because with me, I want to bring Triple J into the discussion with Ayton and Bagley, whereas for me, what Sean said is Bagley better offensively than Ayton. I would say yes. The only reason I would say yes is, both can shoot the three, but to me, Bagley shoots it better. Bagley has a better
no one's
percentage.
doubting that.
Yeah, I know, but Bagley has a better percentage of outside, but the rate is not the thing I look at is the rate of threes.
We're talking big men, though. So why does it,
but
down low, Ayton's much better.
But if both of them want to be fours, NBA, we're moving towards stretch fours. You've got to shoot that three ball. And I know DeAndre Ayton only had, this is per 36, but he only had a, 7.8% three rate or 7.8 three rate.
What are you talking about?
A 3-point attempt
He
rate.
shot 7.8 threes in 36 minutes?
If I'm reading that right, the 3-point attempt is
that sounds like you were
0.78.
saying he was shooting 7.6% from three.
Usually when I see the point, I'm talking about the attempt rate is a 0.78, whereas Bagley's is a 1.32. So Bagley is shooting more threes, but then you look at Jaren Jackson Jr., where he has the best three. Well,
he's an advanced stats
He's right
monster.
at the same as Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley is 0.01% better than
just use the
Jaren
big numbers.
Jackson.
Jaren Jackson shot 96 threes
But
this
he
year.
attempts way more threes per game at 41 compared to the 13 number that Marvin Bagley has. So
he shoots 41 threes a game?
No.
I'm getting lost in these stats,
for
Ricky.
three,
Wait.
wait. Let me explain this.
I don't think you're doing it right.
So I'm not. That's why I'm explaining this. So the 3-point attempt rate, the number for Jaren Jackson is .414.
That's in 36 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And the one for Marvin Bagley is .132. The one for Ayton is .078.
Let's do this.
The number is bigger for Jaren Jackson.
Yes.
That's the point.
Jaren Jackson shot more threes.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
You don't have to use the numbers. Jaren Jackson in college shot 96 threes and shot
for
39.
Ayton and Bagley, it was marginal.
Jaren Jackson shot 96 threes and made 39.6% of them. DeAndre Ayton shot 35 and made 34.3% of them. And Marvin Bagley shot 58 and shot 39.7% of them. So Jaren Jackson shot more threes, but Bagley has the better percentage.
Yeah. The thing that confuses me is whenever it's like .123, usually they're talking percentages at that point.
Right.
Usually it's like a percentage, and you go 100, and it's like, .390, it's 39%.
I look at all those numbers, and the thing that really sticks out to me is the free throw percentage, and that's going to be a bigger indicator of how you're going to shoot from how you're going to shoot from three. Jaren Jackson, he's shooting more threes. He's shooting, I think close to Bagley's 3-point percentage number, but he's well beyond, nearing 80% from three, the free throw line. So who's going to be a better 3-point shooter? It's going to be Jaren Jackson, but that's not all to an NBA game. And I think we look at these prospects. Jaren Jackson's probably the best two-way player out of DeAndre Ayton, Jaren Jackson, and Marvin Bagley
right now, yeah.
But again, it's that potential. What can you grow into? DeAndre Ayton, he might not have been good defensively in Arizona, but you still look at him. He's still got length. He's still got quickness. Same with Bagley as well. Jaren Jackson might be more physical, and he still has that length and quickness. But it's really has he hit his peak, or where is Jaren Jackson's peak? So there's a lot of questions about these guys on what they will develop into. And I think, again, it's going to come down to what Dave said in the size of DeAndre Ayton, how big he is, and just the fact that he is bigger, that he's showing that quickness at how big he is. That's really the reason why he's been number one so consistently.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we all have, obviously, all three of these bigs going in the top four. And for me, the reason the Mavs take Bagley over Jaren Jackson kind of turned into the upside, like you said, Sean. It's what do you see their roles at the next level? I think Jaren Jackson Jr., I'm a bit hesitant at this point to say that he's a guy who's going to play 32 minutes a night. I think that, coming into the league, he needs to learn how to, and again, this might be just because it was a Michigan State team where he played physical defense, but his minutes were very limited because
22 per game.
Because of his foul issues, and if he can't be on the court, that does limit your potential. I think he's an amazingly talented young guy, but it turns into Bagley can give you minutes, he can give you scoring, he can give you great moves in transition. I think he comes with a lot of potential. Jaren Jackson could be a guy who's going to be a 25 to 26 minute a night guy who is great to pair with John Collins on that Hawks team, and you've got your 4 or 5 locked up for the majority of the minutes, and you are thrilled with that walking away. But just like you said, it's a magic P word. Its potential is there for Marvin Bagley to outshine Jaren Jackson Jr., even though Jaren Jackson looks like the better player right now.
I don't disagree. The reason I have Jaren Jackson going to the Mavericks there, though, is just because I think he is great in a secondary role. And you have Dennis Smith Jr., who is the one. I look at him, I saw the year he had this year, I think that he can truly be a one on an NBA team. So you need a guy who's going to be a two, who can be that pair next to him. I think Jaren Jackson's length, defensive abilities, and again his ability to shoot from the outside can be a perfect pair with Dennis Smith Jr. On that team. And I know we talked about Marvin Bagley's fit, and he'll fit well on that Mavericks team without a doubt.
Yeah.
But I think just having that 1-2 punch of Jaren Jackson's length, size, and defensive ability with the explosiveness of Dennis Smith Jr. might be too much to pass up. And again, the potential, I understand you're saying, 21.8 minutes per game, averaging over 3 fouls a game for Jaren Jackson Jr., but I don't think it's really a thing where, he needs to build up stamina a little bit. But again, I think it was more about the style and where he was playing in. I think he can really learn to take away the fouls. He can learn to take away, getting in foul trouble. I think he can play more minutes for his team, possibly top out around a 30 per minute, guy
so
in the NBA. This guy isn't out of shape or anything.
No.
Like this isn't a motor question for Jaren Jackson Jr.
He makes you go hard at the rim, and he punishes you if you don't. That's one of the cool things you like about him. But at the same time, it's some of those fouls are stupid fouls at the end of the day.
And I think you can work that out of one of the youngest players in this draft class. So I think that's something where Jackson, he's younger than everyone else, and I think he's got that potential to really grow out of the bad habits he has. So that's why I have Jackson at 3. I think he's going to be a nice fit with Dennis Smith Jr. And the Hawks, I think they need more of a go-to guy to be a number 1. I think Bagley has shown at Duke that he has that go-to attitude, that he has that killer mentality, that he can be the guy with the ball in his hands and not be afraid. That's why I have Bagley at 4 to the Hawks. I think the fits are perfect because the Suns need a guy in the middle to really take out and damage and just beat up teams. I think DeAndre Ayton can be that. Jackson, again, I kind of talked about it, and Bagley is the one. They could be probably the biggest one, like the go-to guy out of all 3 of these big men. So the Hawks kind of need that. That's why.
Any concern about the John Collins fit with Bagley? Do you think they split time? Do you think they just go small and don't run with the true 5?
Yeah, I don't think they'll run with the true 5 because I think you look at John Collins, he's shown ability defensively, and I think
he's athletic.
He's
too.
still a big dude too. I mean, he's 6'11".
Yeah.
I mean, like you're saying going small, you still have 2 dudes 6'11".
True.
At the 4 and 5. So I mean, you're not really. This isn't like Tristan Thompson.
It's not stereotypical rim protector. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that they'll be fine. I think Bagley will fit more at the 4, and Collins has shown the ability to stretch out a little bit, but not comfortably to that 3-point line.
Right.
But he can really work inside 20 to the hoop. So I think Bagley and John Collins could be a real nice pair, especially with Dennis Schroeder, Torrey Prince, all those guys. So I think it really lands out nicely for all these big men. Ricky, any thoughts?
Well, the last thing I would say is it comes down to the height as well, where it's like Ayton's obviously the one because he's the tallest, he's got the biggest wingspan, but the other 2, it's like, yeah, Jaren Jackson's a little smaller height-wise, but Jaren Jackson has the same arm span that Ayton has, except he's 6'10", and Ayton's 7'1".
Well, I think from early measurements, Ayton might have like an inch on him.
Yeah.
So
I was going off a tankathon.
We'll get the official measurements in a couple weeks, hopefully.
Yeah, just throwing that out there because one guy knows like DeAndre Ayton and Jaren Jackson.
Do they have shoes on? Do they not have shoes on? I don't know.
That's not going to affect wingspan.
I know, but it comes into measurements. Do they have shoes on? Was he wearing what thickness of the sock was he wearing? I don't fucking know.
Wingspan.
Shoes with wingspan.
Do they have gloves on and it's like a little thick on the fingertip?
No one's wearing gloves when they're measuring your wingspan.
Yeah.
But the guy we didn't talk about that much is Luka Doncic going to 2 with the Grizzlies. But we mentioned this before.
Just feels like a good fit.
It's a good fit. I mean, he's a guy that's just going to be a great all-around basketball player. And the Grizzlies, it seems like that's been their mentality of get guys who are really good at a lot of things than just a
Honestly,
guy that's
it's
superb at one thing.
It fits in well. You saw what Tyreke Evans did as a I can give you scoring, I can be a passing wing, I can get some rebounds still. Like, he's exactly in that mold. I mean, I'm not saying he's Tyreke Evans because that's not what I wish for him, but I think that they saw.
Was a rookie of the year.
Jesus, don't remind me of that drop off after that. But I think that what they saw there on how he worked on that team was promising, and Luka could come in a similar mold and provide a little bit of everything for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Luka's going to be fine. I think the Grizzlies, again, it's got to play out lottery wise, but I think if the Grizzlies are there at 2 and Luka's on the board, there's no way they pass
They're
him
happy,
up.
Yep.
Let's jump into the fun ones though. Our favorite team, the Magic, the Bulls, and the Kings at 5, 6, and 7. The Magic all taking Trae Young. I heard that people are afraid because the Magic really like length, but I look at this team. You need a number one. You need a scorer. You need a go-to.
Thank you.
And I understand that Trae Young has turnover issues, that he had a really rough end of the season. That kid did everything.
I mean, his usage number was
everything on Oklahoma. He had a higher usage than Jimmer Fredette, and Jimmer Fredette was playing on BYU. I mean, this is a Power 5 school, and this kid's getting double-teamed 43% of the time in his freshman year, and he had that type of year. I understand. Again, I still think the Colin Sexton's a better pro, has higher pro potential, but you look at Trae Young, and again, the super, who I think is going to be a better pro? Colin Sexton. Who I think can be a bigger superstar? It's Trae Young. He already is. It's no doubt about it. Trae Young's going to be taken over Colin Sexton. And I think the Magic would be stupid not to take Trae Young because then you're going to be able to pair Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier with a guy who can get those guys the ball and also take scoring pressure off them with his ability to shoot from the outside. He's going to have more guys to rely on rather than that Oklahoma team that really didn't have a go-to scorer outside of Trae Young. This kid can really be the next superstar in the NBA. Trae Young at 5 makes too much sense.
As I was hearing you talk just then, the one thing really quickly about the young Sexton that just hit me was I almost want to compare it to when people will compare Darnold and Rosen on the NFL side, where it's like Colin Sexton may have the higher floor right now, but Trae Young to me might have the higher ceiling where it becomes the superstar thing. And the thing with the Magic that I was thinking about with Trae Young is I wasn't even thinking Colin Sexton here. I was thinking, are we going with Michael Porter Jr.?
No, I know, but I'm just saying he's first guard.
He's the point guard.
Yeah.
But me, pick-wise, I'm like, do we go with Trae Young? Because honestly, DJ Augustine was pretty good for them this year, but he's not the future. No. We need a point guard that can be our future. Or do we go and get that small forward, power forward, whatever you want to put MPJ at the next level? And I want a guy who can score, get people involved, and also I'm sitting there as a Bulls fan, like, whatever, take whoever you want. I'll take the leftover.
The thing with that, though, is, again, the fit for Michael Porter Jr. on Orlando. I don't think it's there because you talked that he's probably going to be a 4.
I ultimately went with Trae Young.
He's probably going to be a 4 in the NBA. Aaron Gordon is a 4, and he's not a 3. They tried him at the 3, didn't work. He's a great 4. You have Jonathan Isaac, who can be the future 3, even though the kid's a lanky monster. Yeah. Again, like there's a lot of length on this team already,
and that's why the rumor I kept hearing was like them going after someone like a Mo Bamba here and moving Vucevic. And I understand why they could think that, but I don't know the market for
Bismack Biyombo.
Bismack Biyombo, boys. Boys, they're a game changer. They're a playoff team now.
$72 million.
I just don't know what the value for Vuce is at this point in time. I don't think it's straight up anymore.
It's not Draymond?
It's Draymond.
It's not straight up.
I thought that was always the value.
Remember, Draymond straight up.
I know, boys. But I just don't know if the value is there, and I don't know who they would look for in free agency to fill in that point guard position. So I think you got to go for, like you said, John, the guy with superstar written all over him. Even if he busts, he's still going to be off the bench, a good backup point guard at worst.
I think you've been hearing this talk more in the NFL, but you hear guys like Quentin Nelson. He's an easy double. Don't swing for the fences. Hit the double. Orlando, swing for the fucking fences.
You need to
close your eyes and swing and take a shot with Trae Young. And I think one thing with Bamba too. Again, that's a lot of defense there with him and Jonathan Isaac. You need a scorer. Yeah. And I know Fournier's putting up near 20 points per game, but you need a second guy on that team.
Who puts the bucket in the basket.
The bucket in the basket?
The bucket in the basket. You
The
heard
bucket
me.
in the basket.
The bucket in the basket.
The ball, who's the guy who puts the ball in the basket. It's
Yeah.
Trae Young. It's an easy pick.
Yep.
Let me throw this out there. What if we maybe see, and I don't know if the value would be there. I don't know how crazy this sounds, so you guys will tell me. What if they try to, all right, we'll take Trae Young at 5, then move like a Vucevic for maybe like the Clippers, try to get their 12, their 13, or somewhere there so that they can get not Mo Bamba, but like a Mitchell Robinson and come away with this draft with a guard and a big and still move Vucevic.
Vuce ain't worth like 12 or 13.
I'm just asking, Sean. They could try to move
if
it.
Nico was worth, a late one.
That was desperate playoff move.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying
That was also a late one.
I'm in the realm of I don't know what his value is. Like I said, Vucevic could be worth something. He could be worth a backup. He could be worth, a flat out like.
But Nico's one of the best shooters from 3 at the 4. So that was a perfect pairing with Anthony Davis.
Absolutely.
Vucevic can't play defense. He's not even that good offensively. He's not good.
He's decent offensively. You have to admit, like he's.
But when you get that many shots with Orlando, how good are you? Like, I don't know what Nikola Vucevic is worth, but I don't think he's worth a 12 or 13.
Do you
I think it's probably both.
Do you think that Orlando would be confident enough to trade back a little bit because you don't think Trae Young will be picked up by a team like the Bulls, Kings, or Cavs?
The Kings won't take him. I don't think because they just got De'Aaron Fox and Buddy
Well,
Hield.
he didn't have that. He didn't have that good of attorney.
And Frank Mason, actually. For the
Pretty
Kings.
good game.
Well, yeah, game, but his
Rhode Island.
team screwed him over. He didn't make a far enough splash for the Kings to like
But
him. Is what I'm
five
saying.
seems a little
I get
high
the
for
joke,
Trae Young sometimes. I mean, you see him mocked anywhere from 5 to 13 out there. So
13's ridiculous.
I know.
I think it's
I'm
5
just saying what
his range
we've
is
seen.
5 to 9.
5 to 9. Okay, so you think they're just
I don't think
happy?
he slips past the
They're
next.
taking him at 5, and that's their move.
I think you just got to just take the guy that's going to have the biggest star potential. Just stop fucking around.
We make the joke all the time. How many starters do you have? This guy could get all those starters involved on the court.
It's
you
true.
can't have 11 out there at one time, but the 4 that you have with them can get everyone involved and hit them with passes.
And I think with the Magic, again, if you know this is the guy you're taking, like if you're just moving down to take Trae Young, just take Trae Young. Don't
play games.
Don't try
play
to get
games.
greedy.
Because what if the Clippers want him? The Clippers have 2 picks. Move up, boom.
Suns
You're
have a
done.
couple picks.
Yeah, like again, like
They need a point guard. Anybody hear that one
That's
before?
the thing. It's just like if they want to make that splash,
Yep.
just take them. Just take them. Don't fuck around.
All
Take
right.
them. And again, I know there's a lot of length, and Magic has consistently drafted length, and gone after length with Bismack and all that stuff. But I think that they're not going to go with Mo Bamba. I think they'd be stupid to go with Mo Bamba, to be honest with
Join
you.
the
So,
club.
Trae Young going to the Magic. All right, let's move into our favorite team. Well, your guys' favorite team, the Chicago Bulls, picking at number 6. Well, at least slotted to have the 6th best
Number 1
odds
pick,
to
called it.
get the number 1 pick. But the Chicago Bulls at 6. You guys have them going MPJ. Thoughts? Why?
This is one where, so for me, I would be happy with either Mikal or Michael Porter. Like, I'm happy here with 3 players. Trae Young, Porter Jr., Mikal Bridges. Give me any of those guys, I'm happier than a pick and slop. We got a guy that can help this team. The reason why I picked Porter over Bridges, though, is, some people may say Ricky, but he's injured. My answer to you is, how did that work out for the 76ers? You take the guy with the best potential on the board. I don't care if he plays next year. We'll be in the spot next year to get another top 10 pick. And when he comes back, hopefully that potential's there because this kid, if he was healthy, would have been in the top 3 discussion if he played all year.
1,000,000% agree. Like this isn't even a question for me. Like I like Mikal Bridges. I think he is being overmocked because of how successful his team had played in the tourney.
Winning it all.
He's a great 3-and-D player. Like no denying that. But can he be the guy on the team? I don't think so. I don't think that's ever going to be his role. Michael Porter Jr. in high school was the guy on his team. Michael Porter Jr. in college, we got robbed of that. We didn't get to see.
But,
go ahead.
I mean, when he came back, they changed that team for Michael Porter Jr.
But I mean,
Like,
how much practice did they have going in?
No,
How
but what
much?
I'm
But he was
saying
also
is like
65% confident in that
no,
back.
guys, you're taking what I'm saying the wrong way.
Oh, okay.
He came back and that team changed for him.
Yeah, I know.
He was that big of a name, that
Right.
big of a force that team changed the way they played for Michael Porter Jr. because they knew he was the best player on the floor.
Yeah. Oh,
I know
at
that.
65%.
Yeah.
Right.
So like you can say we were robbed of that, but we even saw glimpses of that he was the best player on the team. That team changed to Michael Porter Jr.'s team, even though all their guys, Cassius Robinson, all that guys were popping off. His brother Jonte was popping off, lighting it up from 3. Michael Porter came back not 100% and still took over that team.
Still got the looks,
was
still got the shots.
Seen as the guy.
Yeah. No, I just think that he has so much potential. He can be an amazing scorer. I really do think that it's one of those situations where we got if this lands like it does, for now we'll say it does. We got lucky that he fell to us. We got lucky that he got injured because, like Kirky's saying, there was a chance that Sean, you were still pressing as much as the 3.0 that he was still a top 3 talent in this draft. So it's crazy that we would be able to get him at 6.
I think it just depends on the way he performs at the combine. If he has a nice combine, I think he'll move up in my boards. But I look at him, he just looks so just stuck in the mud playing out there. And again, I know he wasn't 100%, but it's just like, how much can you get back to 100%? Will you ever be 100% again? That's the biggest questions I have. So if he comes back at the combine and pops off and looks healthy, looks mobile, looks fluid, looks, easily shifting back and forth on his hips, then maybe this will be something different. He's got a lot of time to get there too because, draft combine is until June or late May. So that's going to be something big for him is that draft combine. But I'm not ready to put him there and be able to say you're ready to go. Because also with that Bulls fit, where does he play?
You roll him out the 3.
So you're going to put that guy at the 3, even though he doesn't.
Even if he's a little slow.
He looks really slow.
We'll see when
threes.
he looks healthy. That's the thing, is we watched him play when he wasn't healthy. He hadn't been in playing shape, obviously. So I think that you give him the offseason to get back into game shape. I have no problem rolling him out at the 3.
Plus, let's be completely honest. We don't know exactly what we're going to do with Rolo. Could move him, slide Laurie to the 5, and then move Porter to the 4.
I mean, I know it's positionless basketball.
Yeah, I know.
Laurie Markkinen at the 5, oof.
Yeah, but we're not looking at him to be like a traditional center. We're just looking at him to be, he's a tall guy that plays center.
I mean, he's a
tall guy. Put him in center.
There's not a lot of defense happening there, though, with Laurie and MPJ.
I don't think we're looking for a defensive team. We're looking for spacers and shooters.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the 3. He'll be fine.
Denver Nuggets and just shoot the ball and not play defense?
I don't know.
It almost worked out for them this year.
Yeah, but they had a dynamic player in Nikola Jokic. Who's your Nikola Jokic?
I mean, I'm not saying they're not the same type of player, but Larry can be the kind of a polarizing player out there.
Can he be Nikola Jokic?
No,
dropping dimes like that.
Dirk.
I've never seen.
He can be Dirk on the outside.
But
why is my voice this high?
I don't know. But Nikola Jokic is a wizard.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're not the same type of player. We don't have anyone who can distribute the ball as well as him. No. But what we do have
your point guards can't even do that.
Yeah, no, we can't. But what he can do is stretch the floor out in a unique way that not many bigs can. So I'm just saying that I don't think he's gonna. I think he'll be at the 4. I think Porter will be at the 3. I think we'll roll with the lap. It'll be big. It doesn't matter. We will be thrilled with him to land to the Bulls.
So your 5 would be Chris Dunn at the 1, 2 would be Zach, 3 would be MPJ, 4 would be Laurie, and then your 5 would be
Rolo.
Keeping Rolo?
Yeah, until our next pick.
All right. And Ricky, you agree with that?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, I'm going Mikal Bridges because he's not injured. He fills a position that you guys need at the 3. So you're going to have Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, Mikal Bridges, Laurie Markkinen, Rolo. That's a pretty nice thing.
Like I said, I'd be happy with that too.
You don't have the star potential in Mikal Bridges as you do Michael Porter Jr., but Mikal Bridges is a fucking phenomenal player. That guy is going to be not maybe an all-star, but he's going to be consistently a great starter in the NBA. And I don't think there's a lot of bust on him. I think it's very similar to the Luka thing. He fits a role, a mold in the NBA, and as long as he's hitting his shots...
But we don't need a role player. We need a dude who can be the guy.
But the thing is that I think that you have 4 guys in Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, Mikal Bridges, and Laurie Markkinen were all very solid starters. And I know Zach LaVine didn't look that good this year.
No, he didn't.
Again, he's still very young. Chris Dunn, still very young and showed very... I mean, I think he's probably older than Zach LaVine, but again, Chris Dunn's still getting used to the NBA game, and before he broke his face open, he looked really good out there.
That's pretty good.
So, again, Laurie, still young. This is still a team that is very young out there. And
By the way, not correcting Lowry is the hardest thing I've ever had to do for an entire segment, but I just got to stop here.
You'll have 4 players that are really good starters. So I think that's something that the Bulls will have.
But do you take a top 6 pick for a really good starter, or do you take it for a star, Sean? We just had this discussion about the Magic. You want the Magic to swing for the fences because
they haven't had a star.
They've got 4
they haven't had a star
really
since
good players.
Dwight Howard, and even then, and then
we haven't had a star since that other guy named Mike.
Derrick Rose.
Nah, I know. I'm just saying a Mike and in Chicago.
Also, Jimmy Butler was a star.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 1A.
So Jimmy
Or
Butler
is he a
star.
1B?
He could be a 1A.
We're not having that discussion. Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose.
I know.
You guys are good stars.
I know. We're having fun, man.
Let's move on to the Kings now at 7. I'm going Michael Porter Jr. Again, I think his potential is too much to pass up at that point. And the Kings have a lot of young players where they can take that risk. That's why I have Michael Porter Jr. going there, is because they have Harry Giles, Scale.
Our whole team's
Willie
young, too.
Cauley-Stein.
We're just shitty.
But they have like 15 guys that are still young. Like they were dumping off players. They dumped off their 13th pick in Mikhail Richardson. Malachi, fuck.
Yeah, it's because it's hard to get excited about Malachi Richardson. He looks like a strip.
who's
but those are 2 first-round picks, and they just were like, oh, we have too many players. We got to cut
You know who's going to be the pick here, right?
Who?
He's a player that played in college, but he's from overseas, had a really good tournament. Mo Wagner to the Kings, man. It's all lining up.
You know what? It's
all lining up.
He did declare and get an agent.
Uh-huh. It's all lining up. Had a really good tournament.
He needs to drink right now.
The Kings are going to go Mo Wagner. I would not. I would go
This
Mikal
joke
Bridges
was funny
in my
2 years ago.
But it could line up. That's why you're giving me that look.
No, they're not that stupid.
I think
They took Papagiannis.
They'll go with the guy who...
They took Papagiannis.
They'll
They'll go with the guy who had a great
They'll go with
tournament
the guy whose
performance.
team didn't lose by 10 points. Won every game by 10 or more
But he
points.
made it to the championship.
Great
You have
tournament
Mikal
performance.
Bridges.
I do, and the reason
let's
why
be-
is kind of the same thing as you. They need a 3. Mikhail's the best 3 out there, and he fits the role of, all right, Buddy Hield, whoever you guys want can be the actual star. I'll be out here on the wing. I'll play good defense. I'm going to hit some threes. I'm just going to be a good player for you guys.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't think they need him. They've got good depth at point guard. They've got good depth at the 2. They could use a 3. Right now, the 4 is up for grabs. Let's be honest. Like
They have a lot of 4s, though.
they have a lot of them, but no one's separated themselves out yet. I think we're all excited to see a healthy Harry Giles next year. We expect him to be a monster, but Scales is still doing okay. Willie Cauley at the 5 is the question mark because half people love him, half people think he's going to be gone. I don't know what Kings fans are doing with him. So I think you got to go 3 or the 5, and right now the 3 just seems like you're in heaven right there.
Yeah, I think that if Mikhail's there and Michael Porter Jr. is not, Kings will go with him. But again, my mock draft doesn't lay out that way. So the Bulls take Mikal Bridges and then go with Michael Porter Jr. 8, the Cavs. Again, so weird seeing them in the top 10 as I just picked them in the playoffs to win the NBA Finals. And now they're going to add Mo Bamba for me. You need a 5. You need a guy who's going to be a rim protector. Pairing him with Kevin Love going to be absolutely disgusting. Mo Bamba to the Cavs, I think, is a perfect fit.
No, this is exactly it. You get that defensive big down low. Like, barring LeBron stays, your lineup stays the same. And it's like, all right, Kev, we're going to put you back at the 4. Mo's there to be our defensive stopper down low. And TT, with all the drama that you had, we're just going to push you onto the bench and then eventually push you out the door.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is TT's contract,
Yeah,
really.
that's
but
why.
I've got him going with, again, a well-rounded defensive big. I think that, Mo Bamba has the weird physical body. Like, I don't know, his arms can reach the floor while he's standing up.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But Wendell Carter Jr. has a all-around game. He already knows how to play next to a 4 who doesn't play great defense. I think he slides right into this scheme. I think that
You knocking Caleb's defense, Dave?
Yeah, we all are knocking Caleb's defense.
I will say he had that one great.
He had one great play.
That one great play.
He earned
That's all he needed
that
because
ring.
he got a ring.
Earn that ring. But Wendell Carter Jr., there's been a lot of interesting comparisons to him coming out, matching a young Al Horford as far as their capabilities on the floor, what they can bring to the team. I think that he would be a ideal fit for this Cavs team.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. But so Wendell is a better fit, and that's why you have him going over Mo Bamba?
I don't like Mo Bamba's all-around game. I think that Mo has a lot of potential, but I think Wendell Carter fits a Cavs timeline for keeping LeBron James in the championship hunt because he's
so raw. It's because Mo's so raw.
It is. I think Mo can't help a team compete for a championship in the next 2 years.
So if it wasn't the Cavs taking here and it was just a team
I would
that
be more
needed...
inclined, but I've been low on Mo the whole time.
Okay.
Like, you guys know this. I get ripped on it. But
You
again,
had
he's
Mo
not your
outside
top
the top 10
Yep.
last time, too.
And I've got him outside again. I just don't. I don't see the massive upside of going for a defensive star. I've seen what Rudy Gobert can do. I can see how he changes the game.
I don't think he's just a defensive star, though. That's why.
But that's the difference.
Going at
I mean, yes,
8.
if he continues to develop his offensive game, it would be
Add that
interesting.
3 ball more
Add the 3
consistently.
ball and his shot. But again, he will never be a 1 in my mind. He will never be able to take over games. So I'm going for fit. But if I'm going for all-around talent, like Wendell, lower upside, higher floor. That's all it comes down to.
And for the Cavs, again, they need someone in their
Who can
expedited
contribute, yeah.
timeline. I see where you're coming from. Again, I like the Wendell Carter fit there. Again, it's
But
weird seeing Mo
if you
Bamba
take
out there.
away the team, I would probably go Bamba because of the potential.
I think it's something, though, that, again, with Marvin Bagley, very polarizing player. Either you love him, think he's going to be the best player in the draft, or you think he's, again, a good player, but probably doesn't have an
Not
NBA
the modern
fit.
NBA.
Yeah, where you look at Mo Bamba, he's either someone's third best player or he's like 12, where you have him. Like, there's no really middle ground for Mo Bamba, because you either see a ton of potential in the size and the athleticism, or you see a lot of work to do. Let's now move to the New York Knicks, though. I have going Wendell Carter Jr. We talked about this last week, where I think he fits really nicely at the 5 spot, next to KP, next to Frank, next to Tim Hardaway Jr. I think it's a really nice fit. And with Michael Porter Jr., Mikal Bridges, Trae Young off the board, I think Wendell Carter is the right choice there for the Knicks. I think he's going to be easily a nice slide in and fit for the New York Knicks at 9.
No, for me, it was Kevin Knox, where it's like I looked at their roster and I'm like, you know what? Where every player is gone yet, the 3, yet again, another 3 to where I'm like, you know what? Let's go with him. Plus, I was kind of diving into the comments, and on our Knicks video, we had a recent one from Boogeyman where he said, I'm surprised the lack of love for Knox. Yeah, he's a bit behind the other 3, but he has the most upside. And that's the thing with the Knicks right now. KP's still, KP is there, but he's still developing. Frank is obviously developing. If it's going to take a guy that's 3 years, I would still go with a Kevin Knox here because of the upside that he can bring.
What upside do you see in Kevin Knox, though? Because I don't know about that whole upside thing. Like, I get it. He's very raw. He's a raw kid. He had a decent 3-point shot, but I don't know if he's going to develop into a star. I don't know if he's going to develop into that next level guy where Wendell Carter, again, like Dave said, he might not be a next level guy, but he's going to be a decent starter without a doubt in my mind. So that's why I think he's a better fit. And I think with the Knicks, again, you're getting a new head coach in there. That's obviously going to play into the factor with the picks as they fired Jeff Hornacek. But I think this is something where you need to at least hit a double because you have Kristaps Porzingis, you have Frank. You need to be able to secure that their future is going to be in the playoffs and not picking at the top 10 again. I think Wendell Carter will help you get back to the playoffs rather than possibly just gambling on a guy who's very raw. I think there's a lot of raw players already on this Knicks team. Get a guy that's already solidified.
Well, and the thing that I kind of think back to is also it depends on who they get to be their coach.
That's true. Right now we don't know.
Someone comes in, maybe then Kevin Knox doesn't fit that coach's play style or what he wants to run.
If you think it's so raw, he can be molded to whatever. I mean, he has the physicals to be a NBA level small forward. Nobody's going to argue that.
And also
perfect body, great athleticism.
The thing that I kind of think of is look at the team that he is coming from. He's coming from a Kentucky team where it wasn't like Kentucky to me wasn't that one team where it's like they've got Kevin Knox and that's who they've got. He's the main go-to guy. No, they had him. They had Shea Gilgeous. They had a collection of guys. They had Diallo to where it's like, you know what? It's not just one guy. Yeah, he's not a first-round talent anymore in our mock drafts, but that to me is also he's not going to be the number 1 on the Knicks. So that's why if I'm the Knicks, I wouldn't hesitate to take him at number 9, I think it is.
Yeah, I mean, you do have him 9. I've got him going with Miles Bridges. I think similar scenario, but this is a guy who's proven it. He came back to college for 1 more year. Question marks about the cash reasoning beside that. But
surprised he didn't come back for year 3 because he didn't win it.
Honestly,
I thought he really wanted to win that title, man.
Yeah.
He really wanted to win. Not 2 years enough.
I
only
think there's
one.
a three-lettered agency that kind of pushed him out a little bit.
Maybe.
Not saying anything, Noah Conley, that he did take money, but maybe.
If he did, whatever. At
also,
this point,
it seems like there's a lot of scumbags coming out of MSU because apparently, some reporter said that now MSU, 3 players from the MSU football or basketball team.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks out there.
Raped her back in 2015, so now you also have the Larry and Star stuff. So I think it's probably the right time
it's time
for
to get out
Miles Bridges to get out of Michigan.
But I thought he really wanted to win that title.
But you know what? He, regardless of him not winning that title, he still was a very good player this year. He was a very good player last year.
He was the man for that Michigan State team.
He continued to develop his game. His 3-point percentage shot went down a little bit, but his volume stayed about the same. I think that was more so because of the way the team played rather than like he took a step back massively because he didn't. He's got a good body. He's got great size. I think he would be an excellent addition to this Knicks team. He's a good fit because he doesn't have to come in and start right away, but he's got an NBA-ready body at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's something where Bridges, again, he doesn't have that athleticism that Kevin Knox has, but he's just a all-around player.
Again, it might be a little bit of a reach for him because he does like his upside. I still think is very high, but I think other people see him because he's a second-year player. He's instantly a knockback on him.
Well, I look at him too. It's just like I don't know if he needs to lose weight. If he's just like he's got a very weird body size. I don't know if you guys see that
he's
too.
like 6'7", 230. So yes, he is.
He's a big dude, but I don't know if it's muscle or if it's like he needs to start working out a little bit more. And that's something that worries me because like then if it's not, if you're not really restricting yourself and you're not really on the right diet, then that might lead to other problems on the floor if you might not be really restraining that way.
We've seen what NBA conditioning can do. I mean, when Jokic came in the league, like the dude was just chugging down Coke and pizzas like left and right. Like he didn't care. Like that was his diet.
Marc
he
Gasol
just
too.
did it. Marc Gasol.
Well, look at
so many of
even
these
say
guys.
Joel Embiid.
Joel Embiid was
like,
a twig.
Yeah, he was a
I know.
stick.
That
Coming
boy
in,
had
he
no
was a
muscle.
twig, and
But
now
he-
it's like he looks like a man out there.
But that was
He's more than a man.
But that's something
He's
that
Joel
scary as
Embiid.
hell.
That's why again looking at Mo Bamba, I know this is totally different. But that's why I
see
look
the
at him,
upside.
Yeah.
I see the upside.
I think Bridges can build up that muscle. He can get into great shape on an NBA team for a whole season.
I'm not saying he's out of shape.
You were the
look at
guy
me.
who was the biggest fan of him last year.
I am.
You love that boy.
I have him going at 10 right now to the 76ers, so we'll talk about
There
it.
you go.
I think that Miles Bridges is still, again, a great player in the NBA. I'm not saying that he's not going to be. I'm just throwing out things. We can't just talk positively about everybody. That's boring.
I know.
So I look at him, and again, he's going to be in a situation that he doesn't need to produce right away. If Rocco's slipping up, he steps right in, and it's going to be very similar spots. Going to be asked to be a spot-up shooter. Could be a pretty decent defender. I think he could be a really nice 3-and-D player and work off Rocco. I think the Philadelphia 76ers, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with all their picks, but I mean, this is a team that was just picked by Ricky Widmer to go to the NBA Finals, and now...
Spoilers, what if they came to this first?
Well, that's their fault. If they stayed for 46 minutes, I don't think they're going to be listening to the 55 minutes on the NBA
Yeah,
playoff
they are,
predictions.
because they love us, Sean.
Anyways, again, this is a team, if they go to the NBA Finals, they're able to add Miles Bridges. Insane. But yeah, I think Miles Bridges can be a nice fit. He already feels like he fits into this team. Maybe they look at the 2-guard to get a better shooter to fill that role if JJ Redick leaves, but there isn't a 2 to fit there. So they'll go Miles Bridges and get it back up to Rocco.
Well, and another thing with the Sixers, I know we'll talk about it later, is they do have another pick, but I look at this and to me it came down to I go Miles Bridges because, I mean, small forward, you can fit some guys there, but really it's like Rocco or maybe Saric. Then I look at the bigs. Not high on Amir Johnson, not high on Holmes.
Well, Amir Johnson isn't going to be on the...
Exactly. He's
Yeah,
up at the
contract
end of the
joke.
year.
Yeah.
So same with like Rashard Holmes. He's got a club option. And then Ilyasova has still got the cap hold for next year. I think Wendell Carter is the pick. If he is still there at 10, get a guy who can play the 4, play the 5, be that all-around big that Dave talked about earlier. Yeah, that means you might have to pass on a Miles Bridges because he's still on my board there. But I would value that Wendell Carter, pair him up with Joel Embiid rather than pass on him and go with a Miles Bridges with all the guards and wings you have anyways.
And Dave, we talk about the guards and wings that they have. You talked that they needed a 5 before the podcast. Mo Bamba's on the board. They built up Joel Embiid to a monster.
But
who do you go
fuck
with?
that. They're going Zaire Smith. Look, you don't take your last best draft pick that you're going to get for the next question mark years and go ahead and use on a guy who's going to be a backup. Screw that.
Unless they get the number 1 pick, they just go Aiton.
Well, yeah. But no, the thing is,
I'm saying like that's
they're
only
a
other
playoff
best
team.
pick they could
There's
get.
no reason to believe that they're going to slow down in the next 5 years. So this will be their last best pick on paper. I just think that this is a guy in Zaire Smith who we watched play in multiple positions throughout the year because this Texas Tech team was lacking. They had some injuries. He went anywhere from 2 through 4, guarded guys across the board. His physicals are insane. He can just absolutely stuff people. He can go in transition and play amazing transition defense. Offensively, he's okay to decent, but if he continues to develop, and guess what? He can because they're the freaking 76ers and they can develop shooters. I just think that you take a guy with upside, with the physicals, with every reason to go after it because, again, last best chance.
So he's your future 2, is what you're saying.
He's your future, like, Swiss Army knife, pretty much.
Okay.
And if not, just redshirt him. What, Joel redshirted, Ben Simmons redshirted.
He's not injured.
Markelle almost
not yet.
redshirted. Like, Markelle almost redshirted. It's like,
Knock
it's
on
the
wood.
76er way of, like, just sit out. I don't care if you're
I don't
just
even think
sit
you
out.
need, like, it's one of those situations where he can get time and develop because there's so many contracts that they have that are going to be clearing up. So I just think that he is a guy who has some of the highest upside left and can fill a role for their future team moving forward with heavy minutes.
This is just my opinion.
Yep.
the 76ers, if Mo Bamba's still on the board,
Take him.
they'd be stupid to pass him up. I understand what you're saying. That, like, you don't want to take a big man and the guy's going to be a backup.
Yep.
But also, if Mo Bamba's able to develop and be able to turn into a monster, you can move him. And you can get more value than Zaire Smith could ever bring.
Can keep getting injured, then you have your replacement right there. I agree, the logic's there. I just think that it makes a statement about Joel Embiid if they go ahead and take another center at this point in time.
It means they don't have confidence in him.
And they sign him to the contract.
But also, like, you look at the 4 and, like, do they need Dario? Maybe they move Dario. And
You shut your whore mouth.
No, I'm just saying, like they have so many players that they can move. I don't think it's just about
Call
asset.
Jake.
I think it's just something about asset building, and you're just picking the guy with the most.
Here's the thing:
most picks, and he'll be a bigger asset. Like that's why I'm thinking it's in the 76ers realm. I don't think it's something that's like, oh, this is a statement about Joel Embiid. No, Joel Embiid's going to be their starting center, and yes, he might not be healthy, but still, you're not planning on him not being healthy. You just signed him to a max extension.
Right, but you're forgetting the fact that they have 2 draft and stash players from the last couple years in Matthias Lasort and Jonah Bolden, who are both playing really well over in Europe. So you have those guys you can pull over if you need that depth at power forward. I just think that because of that, they're going to go ahead and go for, like you said, I wouldn't disagree with the Mo Bamba pick here. I'm just going for this would fit their wing depth. He could play defense on 2 through 4. It's exactly what they're looking for. He's a decent offensive player who can develop into a much better one. That's all I'm aiming at.
Again, I'm not disagreeing with the wing selection. It's just the fact that Mo Bamba is still
available,
and I
and
love
I'm
Mo
an
Bamba.
asshole.
So that's the only reason why. All right.
Fair enough.
We're wrapping it up. 1 through 10. This has been like 50 minutes of awesome podcasting.
It's awesome.
Whew,
It's
we
always
still
awesome.
have 2 more segments to go.